Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Patrick Raymond, and I welcome you back wherever you're at for this short, less than 5 minutes, motivational and uplifting pause. Today, the thing we're going to talk about is focusing on things you can change. The whole focus of this is that we focus on changing things in ourselves. It's super easy to identify problems in other people, weaknesses in other people, or things that you're just like, oh man, that person needs to get better at X, Y, or Z. A lot of times we hear something super cool, super positive, and we're like, oh, so-and-so needs to listen to this so they can change. I'm not saying that wanting other people to change is always a bad thing, right? You might have a loved one or family member, a friend that is doing something that's hurting themselves or not something that's real healthy or positive, and you're thinking, hey, I love that person. I really would like to see them make a change for the better. That's totally okay. But here's the thing. We can't control them. We can only control ourselves. So if we focus on ourselves and things that we can do differently, not only are we bettering ourselves, but we're also putting ourselves in a position to invite others to make positive changes with us. Not everybody is in a position to change. So we shouldn't spend our time and all of our energy focusing on everything that someone else needs to do and change. I've identified 10 major personal growth phases that people go through. And I'm going to break those down into 10 different motivational and uplifting pauses because there's a lot we can learn from each of them. So real quick, the 10 personal growth phases. First, you've got lack of awareness. This is where we all start. You've got recognizing weakness, identifying with your weakness, denial, acceptance, pain, seeks help, learns and practices, being in control, and continues to improve. So for this, we're going to talk about the first, which is lack of awareness. Lack of awareness is when you're living life without even the slightest idea of the problem area you need to improve in. Many of us are in this area for at least one thing or another. I remember when I struggled with OCD anxiety. I had no idea that I was the problem. I could definitely feel the anxiety and lack of control at times, but I always thought it was because of someone else. It was like the other person was causing me to feel the way I was feeling, which in turn led to it being the other person who caused me to react in ways that were destructive or negative. It was never my fault, or at least that's how it felt to me inside. I remember hearing so many times, just stop thinking about it, or it's not that big of a deal. So why was I reacting the way I was if it wasn't because of the other person? I had the hardest time coming to the realization that I was the one with the problem. I was the one that was not able to control my thoughts, feelings, and actions in a healthy, positive way. This was something I needed to do, not only for myself and my own happiness, but for the happiness of those around me. So even though we do not have control over what other people do, or in many cases what happens to us in life, we need to remember that what we do have, and should have, control over is ourselves. So controlling our thoughts, and I'm not talking about the random like pop-in thoughts, but the thoughts we choose to continue to think about is extremely difficult. Controlling our actions and reactions to those thoughts is even more difficult. But I will tell you this, it's doable. That's the awesome part of this. It's doable. Each of us, each of you can do it. So controlling our thoughts and actions can take place only after we overcome this first phase of our lack of awareness. Many times, we learn what those areas are by listening to others around us as they give us feedback about our actions and behaviors. So you might be saying, okay, well, if I'm not aware of it, how am I gonna know? It's listening to others, right? And who are the best people to listen to? Our loved ones, our closest friends are typically the best source of finding this information about ourselves. We need to be open to hearing what they have to say and really take it to heart. You don't reach a stage of happiness and automatically stay that way forever. It is the choices and efforts made each day that allow us the freedom of living happy. Freeing yourself from the bonds of unhappiness is my hope for you. I hope and pray that these pauses that we have, that you are listening to, will help you along your path towards daily happiness. I love you. Have a good rest of your day.